Okay, this is a quick video about the second essay in the class, which is a proposal argument. And your textbook talks about this in depth. This is chapter 12. But I really talk about these arguments in terms of a problem solution format. Students often find that this is a effective way um, to tackle a proposal argument, to think about it in terms of problem. What's a problem that we want to address? What is something we want to change? And then what do we do to address that problem? This involves all the elements of, this can involve all the elements of the first uh, essay format, which was the position argument. Sometimes you gotta have an argument of fact, you gotta have an argument of definition, you gotta have an argument of quality or evaluate something to convince people that there's a problem and that here are some realistic and feasible solutions. So again, this is about 1,500 words and a minimum of 3 sources. Where can your topics come from? So these were things we were going to do in class on Saturday before the cyber security event, whatever that was. um, so here's possible problems if you're thinking about different realms of life: school, government, media, whatever your major is, your community. This is just a selection to start you thinking. Um, so issues in school: are kids missing too much class? Do instructors communicate well? Are peers lazy? Are enough courses offered? These questions are intended to get you thinking about what are issues inside of the educational world. Using this prompt, I had a student recently write about that schools don't do enough or pay enough attention to social anxiety. So this problem of more and more students struggling with social anxiety and schools not doing enough to address it. Um, Government, television, your major, community. These questions are intended you to think of what are possible problems you can write about. The textbook has a lot of possible suggestions as well. Once you have an idea, these are questions to ask yourself as you develop the idea. So, what are the causes of the problem? Um, what are the most troubling uh, or alarming images associated with the problem? What are some effects of the problem? Then, what are some solutions? What actions will address it? Is it feasible? Feasible means, is it possible? So, for instance, I recently had a student say, um, gun violence is a problem and we need to ban all guns. And yes, if all guns could be removed from society, gun violence would go down, but that's not a very feasible solution because of the number of guns and the nature of our culture and stuff like the Second Amendment. So, is the solution effective and is it feasible? And then addressing, what are the potential shortcomings of that solution? And this is how you address the opposition. Really thinking about the public resonance. Who should care about this and why should they care about it? Here is a bunch of sample thesis statements that you can read through from previous students. And then I actually included a little bit more formulaic outline of, if your essay answers these questions in these order, you've written an essay. So this is a great way to make an outline of a problem solution. So first, start with what is the problem? How can you prove it? Give us some stats, some research and comparison, some expert testimony. What is the argument? What is the best argument that it isn't a problem? So this is where you have to deal with the opposition. Just even proving that something is a problem is an argument. Getting people to accept that this is an issue we need to address. Is climate change something we need to address? Is the size of the deer herd in mid Michigan a problem we need to address? Is um, runoff a problem we need to address? Is uh, using farmland for alternative energy like the Eagle Mega Site a problem we need to address? Is using farmland for windmills a problem we need to address? So proving that it's a problem, and then talking about addressing the people who say it isn't a problem. So what students like about problem solution, it's really like two arguments. So they're for sure got lots to write about because first they got to prove that it's a problem, and then what are some solutions? Why are the solutions effective? Reasoning, statistics, research, and testimony support that. What are the biggest challenges to the solution, and how do you address those challenges? Are the solutions feasible? And what are the biggest issues with the solution in terms of its feasibility? I also included a student just submitted this, so a different section, not the Portland section, but a different section. What is the problem? ADHD permanently alters young brains. So this student is writing about the problem of overprescribing ADHD medications. Oops, that's supposed to say medications in there. Permanently alter young brains. Prove this. Prove how much these are prescribed. Why are they prescribed? The student wants to talk about big pharma. Prove they are misdiagnosed. What are the downsides or effects of uh, these drugs that make it a problem? Um, This is the solution, the claim. Prescription guidelines need to be revised. So the student needs to know what are the current guidelines, who's recommending a change, who are the professionals that suggest this that are not crazy. How do we help the kids? If we, of course, people are going to say that, well, if you don't prescribe medication for ADHD kids, what do you do? And this now the writer can go into uh, other ways to address ADHD behaviors, stuff at home, alternative treatments, stuff like furniture choices at school, and laws about ADHD recommendations. Essentially, the outline is a series of questions that give you places to go. What can you go research and make happen? That's essentially what it is. So that's a very quick summary of things we were going to do in class with a lot of interaction on Saturday. But in between that and the book, you should have enough direction for the next steps. And of course, if you feel like you don't have enough direction for the next steps, I have a lot of availability, a lot of time. I can help you and work with you. Please send me an email or a text, and we can talk, and I can help you with your work.